Hello everyone, this is CDNovo992 and today we're back for the brand new video. And no, your eyes aren't deceiving you. Yes, me and thee are actually here to discuss and preview an upcoming Rangers game. We haven't done it in far too long. I think it's been, in fact it will be well over a month now since we actually discussed an upcoming Rangers game, which ironically was in Europe. And then on that day, on the back of that video, we ended up getting some European magic and getting a fantastic result in which every little thing fell in our favour. Is it too much to ask a month on and a preview video later the exact same result comes on the back of it? I really hope no. But all joking, hopes and prayers to one side, I guess maybe the most ironic thing is the way that the preview videos have went ahead and returned, because again we've already talked about it right here, but the reason they've dried up domestically is because I simply don't believe these players play as if they care about domestic football. And if I feel like they've not got the same work rate, desire and commitment domestically, I think it'd be very, very disingenuous for me to chuck the old camera on, put the old lightings, pull up the old green screen, shove a smile on the Nasher and pretend that corners are going to be turned and lead people into a false sense of security and pretend that everything is going to be alright. I think the perfect example of corners not being turned is the last two games domestically, because you have everything coming in your favour. The way that game ended at Rugby Park, the explosion, the changing, the feel-good factor, the emergence, and then the exact same group of players go about and wander about the park and embarrass the Rangers fan base once again at the weekend, barely putting a fit in and just playing like they just don't care. Right, I think it is quite clear no corners will be turned domestically this season until there's a gutting of the squad and gutting of personalities in and around the building as well, with fresh ideas and fresh mentalities and fresh standards that needs to be set. But, and there is but why are we here today if I feel that way? Well, everything I feel like they don't give domestically, I think it's fair to say they certainly give on the European stage, because that culture's almost been created, nurtured and encouraged at our football club for far, far too long, that European football is everything. And I think if we're being fair to the players, they usually give everything on those European nights. Or at least that's certainly what I hope, as I will be over in Turkey, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm hoping they go ahead and put out some European magic. But again, more on that when we get to the Rangers side later on in today's video. Now it's time for a brief little distraction from the insanity that has been Rangers so far this season by having a look at a very, very talented team, and some might say a very, very special manager. Was it too on the nose? Now, of course, we are going ahead and playing Fenerbahce, who at my current time of recording sits second in the Turkish league. And I can imagine there will be a hell of a lot of Rangers fans tuning into this video, watching this video, hoping to God I've got something to say that this squad is playing badly, or they're going through a rough spell, or maybe they've reached that point in the Jose Mourinho reign that happens at every club where everything starts to crumble down, the frustrations, they starts benching people and falling out with players. Is there at least something like that as we Rangers fans can get behind? CJ, please tell us it's so. Well, unfortunately it's not. Yes, they do sit second to a small team called Galatasaray, sitting 4 points behind them, but they are starting to claw away at the ground, having a better run over the last 5 games as well, having the best form in Turkish football, and they're chopping away after their couple wee wobble spells earlier on in the season. It's fair to say this Fenerbahce side domestically is up there and cooking, because you have to go all the way back 18 games for the last time this squad lost a game of football in any competition. You know what I mean? That's how well and how strong this team is going ahead and performing, that they have went 18 games without a loss on their books. Now, thankfully, 18 games ago, their loss did come in European football, which is very, very encouraging. And it came at Fenerbahce Stadium. Another very excitement, and in a game that just didn't turn up for. They were really, really poor. They got a red card and lost 2-0 to Athletic Club in a match they were absolutely barking. Please, sir, can I have some more? I really need to stop doing the accents, don't I? I really do. But in all seriousness, European football is where we as Rangers fans can start getting a little bit encouraged and a little bit excited, because again, domestically there's no much there. Again, they are performing, they are outplaying, they are doing well. Even in some of the games they've been criticised, one of them being the most recent game versus Galatasaray, where Jose Mourinho has been criticised for a lot of things. We're not going to really dive into any stuff off the park, but in the on the field stuff where the journalist came for his style of play and the way he approached it and everything like that, because the game did finish 0-0 and it certainly wasn't a spectacle on the old eyes. What you talk about here, you talk about a Jose Mourinho side who knows his side right now, when you look at it, are clawing away and getting the better results and playing the better football, and they have to go away to their title rivals. He's gone. Is he going to leave the game open? Is he going to play pretty football? Is he going to no tell his players to get stuck in and smash folk and make it very, very difficult? Is he really going to let the opposition go there and play pretty stuff? No, he never was, and he never has been that type of manager. So he brought his Jose Mourinho defensive style that Clement was quick to criticise not too long ago. But again, it got him in a position where, yes, they never won the game, but they never lost it either, and it keeps that roaring and it keeps them ticking along and performing very nice. And again, just chipping away, and being hot on the heels of the team that's above them. Domestically, there's no much we can actually really touch them on or see or try and get encouraged, considering how bad and awful we've been domestically. But I guess if you want to just look at it from an all balancing scales, where they've been very good domestically but been sort of barking European wise, we've been barking domestically but been pretty damn good in European football, and that's where the encouragement comes, because again, this game is in European football. And Fenerbahce, despite the special one, despite playing well here, despite having the full confidence, you know where they finished in terms of the old Europa League table? Well, you might have guessed it from me saying that they've been awful in Europe, but they finished 24th, the very last spot that you can get to qualify to play in a playoff or a knockout, depending on what you want to go ahead and call it. That is what they clawed their way into, and they made it how? Thanks to a single goal difference, as after 8 games where we finished in the top 8, considering the mess we've been in, they finished with 2 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses, 9 goals scored and 11 conceded, scraping in by a single goal difference that took them to the dance to where they played us. European football and domestic football has been a complete 180 so far, and I'd much rather be playing this team that's played that badly the majority of the season. But again, you might have noticed that wee word majority, and unfortunately that is the case, because where we spoke about them being pretty barking and pretty bang average at best in terms of the league format, the next round came, and as usual, Jose Mourinho's side start paying a wee bit more attention to European football. The lights get a bit brighter, it starts to get a wee bit closer to a trophy, and the special one starts to pay a wee bit of attention, because they started to look back to their brilliant best in their next game in the next round of the Europa League as they went ahead and played Anderlecht, who at the time had a lot of people saying, oh, this could be a dark horse, this could do this could beat Fenerbahce, because they didn't seem interested, they're not playing well in Europe. Well, Fenerbahce quiet all that noise, doing as usually the special one does, with a phenomenal 3-0 win to effectively killed the entire tie right there and then, because if you give any manager in the history of football a 3-0 lead, the one you know want to give it to, if you've got any chance of overturning it, is the likes of Jose Mourinho, because he doesn't shift too many goals away and he can shut down an entire game plan like that. And that did feel like the game, the set and the tie was all over, if you actually will. And but the second game ended up being a wee bit more entertaining than a lot of people were expecting, as it did finish 2-2. But again, if you actually watch and you pay attention, there was barely a sweat on the bit of the brow of Jose, as he knew his team was through, and I think a lot of the players on the park for both sides knew that as well. So there's the warning right there, ladies and gentlemen. They set the template of how they qualified for the last round and made it clear to everyone. They come out gun blazing, a bit more attacking than you would expect for a Jose side at home to kill the tie, and then in the away game they'll do what they need to do, and all the wee frustration tactics, all the wee silliness here there, just to make sure they get over the line. And that's where, for me as a Rangers fan, looking into this game of football with a bit of a worry, because they will come out, they'll look to do that, and we need to make damn sure there doesn't need to be a win or this. We need to make sure we keep this tie in the balance, or at least give us a chance at it, taking it back tie blocks. We can't give a Jose Mourinho a 2-3-4 goal advantage. We can't be that slow. We can't be that naive. Or this European journey, which is the last thing we've got left to fight for, will be done and dusted by the time the game finishes tomorrow. It was for Anderlecht, and I hope to God it's no for us. And the first potential pain in the jacksie is the centre-back Milan Skriniar, who you probably heard of from maybe his time at Inter Milan. Sorry, you know what I mean? Big, powerful, dominant centre-half, and honestly, when I was watching these games sort of unfold, because I was keeping a wee eye on who we could potentially play again. I was hoping it was maybe going to be the likes of FC20 or even Bodo, Glimt or something like that. I was looking at Fenerbahce, I was like, by God, the list of their stars is through there. It's just no click, but there's a manager there that if he wants to pay attention to this league could be a big pain. And I was sitting looking at the players, I was just watching this guy just get up, he did everything, throw his arms about versus Anderlecht, because in their European struggles, you might be saying, if he's so good, how did they struggle so badly? He didn't play in any of those games, ladies and gentlemen, right? His first European game in the Europa League this season was against Anderlecht, where he kept a clean sheet in his very first game of European football this season, and he was absolute standard, right? Maybe you've not heard of him, you don't know too much about him, but he's a big, strong centre-back that probably scratches his head with a brick, because he's just tough, hard-nosed, old school as they come, and he's the type of defender we as Rangers fans actually want at the club. You know what I mean? The eats, sleeps and breathes defender. And for me, when I look at how we struggle against the likes of Gogic and how much he dominates and bullies the likes of Dessers, and how much even Liam Gordon in our most recent game frustrates our attacking line, you're talking about centre backs there that are a wee bit nasty and has got a wee bit about them. Then you're talking about an actual, I'd consider a world class centre back that's also got that nastiness up to that scale as well. And we're going to need Mr. CD9 to be at his full capabilities if he's to get any change for that player as well. And if he does go ahead and start, which is expected in this game of football, it's not just him chopping and stopping all of our attacks, it's actually his threat from aerial set pieces as well, which could potentially be a pain. But we'll touch on that in a wee bit of time as well, because they've got a lot of aerial threats, and I think set pieces may potentially be our Achilles heel coming into this game. But I want to talk about where I see a lot of the attacks actually build from, and he is getting a wee bit older now, but it's your boy Tadic as well. Obviously you might recognise him from maybe his time at Southampton or something like that, but Tadic is interesting for us Rangers fans because Tadic was signed at the same time as Ryan Kent was signed, and apparently that's what started the decline of Kent, because he couldn't get on the park, because who are you going to play? No disrespect to Kent, but you're going to play Tadic or Kent. Tadic, set pieces, dead ball specialist, put it here, cross it here. He is at the heart of a lot of these things, you know what I mean? He's played 10 games so far in the Europa League. Yes, he's getting a wee bit older, he's not got the pace that maybe he never always had, but he used to have a wee, but son, he can maybe get ran or maybe be a liability in terms of counter-attacks. But if you're giving silly daft fouls away, if you're doing what we do, letting balls bounce about, heading out free corners and giving this guy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 corners a game, this guy could really punish us. And for me, he's at the root of all my fears in this game of football, you know what I mean? Skriniar from the set piece, Big Taddy if he comes on like there, winning the wee set piece if he's St. Maximin, and then gives Tadic the opportunity to do that. He can score free kicks, put it on dime. He's a big worry for me, and it's interesting where he lines up and play, because he can play out in the left, he can play at the 10, he can play out in the right. I guess it's just who they want to go ahead and target. Is it going to be Tavernier? Does he think he's got more change at him, or does he think maybe the young rash Jeffy could get stuck out and get involved in some of the silliness and give the set pieces that Jose's sides are always known for wanting? But there is one last player that I want to talk about, again in the midst of big names and big stars and players we've probably heard of because of time in England. Even Diego Costa, who just left Aston Villa here, but I'm pretty sure he's injured as well. It's kind of up in the air, but I think he is officially ruled out of this game. There is names there, but a name you've maybe not heard of is Youssef Nsieri, who for me is the one to really worry about in terms of putting the ball into the back in it. Now, he is Moroccan, he has got a wee bit about him where he's bought his feet, but what this guy can do is put the ball into the back in it in a pretty damn regular period. He's got 26 goals in 39 games, and no 39 of their games have been starts either, by the way, you know what I mean? Just in terms of European football, he's got 6 and 10 so far. He started to heat up, he scored against the likes of Man United, Slavia Prague, Eze, Alkmaar. He scored in the big games, you know what I mean? And the last round, where again it was very important for Fenerbahce to get through. He scored in both rounds, or both games, sorry, I should say, against Anderlecht home and away. He's just a natural goal scorer. Could put the ball in the back of net. He's not the biggest name, he's not the sexiest name, he's not the most clickbaity name, but for me as a Rangers fan, expecting the likes of John Souttar to come back into this game, because by God, we need somebody in there. That is a real baptism of fire to worry about, because his movement, he'll drag John left, he'll drag John right, he'll drag him deep, then he'll try and get in behind. He's just a clever centre forward with really good movement, you know what I mean? He'll maybe drift out a game for 5 minutes, then they'll get the ball forward and he's tapped it in the back, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Big John was playing well. It's a big tough ask for John if he is getting flung into the deep end, because again, he's not only got him who's scoring goals for fun right now, but again, the other names, you've got Dzeko and that to come in there with the physicality. Big Tally as well, getting in the middle of the park with his headers and left foot, right foot, all that stuff. There is a lot of attacking weapons. It's just how Jose wants to hurt this side. There could be a lot of overloads in there, and it's a very, very hard ask of Barry Ferguson at any time, you know what I mean? It's giving me sort of Ryan Mason versus Pep Guardiola for Spurs all those years ago. It's a big, big ask, but again, his hands are sort of tied. We know who's going to play for Rangers tomorrow. Do we know who's going to play for Fenerbahce? No, because there is so many good players that could be picked there. So it's very, very interesting for the Fenerbahce side. But that's them. There's weapons there, there's goals there, but again, they're playing for a manager. They know their style of play, and they can hurt teams at any part and any aspect of the game. They can sit off, defend, frustrate, hit on counter-attack. They can be ball dominant on the ball, or they can play for set pieces. So there's a lot of potential headaches in there and people that can bring them. But that's the preview. That's Fenerbahce, and that is the old special one. But with that being said, that's us reached the end of the Fenerbahce side. Let's get to the old Rangers sides. And all Rangers, how much you break my heart, but I just keep coming back, not being able to get enough. And coming into this game on the back of the way we're playing domestic, can you imagine like the Fenerbahce side, whatever I am over there, you know what I mean, looking at Rangers, he's domestically getting beat off plumbers and part-time and blah blah blah, in terms of Queen's Park getting embarrassed at home, all these losing records we're handing out to team. They must be sitting there laughing their head off, but what they don't understand is we know we are a mess domestically. We know there's 101 Dalmatians and 101 problems, but European football isn't one of them, ladies and gentlemen, because somehow, someway, this team always rises to the occasion. I think, again, a lot of that is built on the culture and what's been accepted and what's been cheered and what's been encouraged both on and off the park. That European football is the end-all, be-all. But whatever the swear or however the seed's been planted, it's in there in the players. And again, looking at this Fenerbahce side, who I think is the hardest test that we could have possibly got to everybody that was available, we really need that seed to have been planted in this team to come out firing, because if they can do and then get a result here, that's a massive, massive statement, because this Fenerbahce side is really good. And again, as Rangers fans, we've got a bunch of players who, when are expected to win, can and underperform, but when they're expected to lose, they rise to the occasion, they raise their game, and they seemingly relish the opportunity and the tag of being an underdog. And I think everybody, even the most staunchest Rangers fan out there, will look at this game of football away to Turkey and clearly say we're underdogs. So again, all we can hope is these Rangers players come out and fire, and there's still some European juice left in there, because if they are sleepwalking at midweek, if they are sleepwalking in these domestic games, it's to keep themselves ready for European football. Well, here's the big test. The bell's been rang. Mike Tyson's sitting there looking you in the face. Are you going to come out swinging, or are you going to look to the ground and expect to get pumped? We can't play anywhere near the way we'll be playing domestically, but in European football, can we rise to it? Aye, we have done in the past, and we need to make sure we go there and get a result. Now, again, the type of result probably depends on what type of person, half full, half empty type of guy, you know what I mean? Does it end all, be all, need to be a win? I think that's a very hard task, especially over at Istanbul, but can you go there and grab a draw? Would that be conceived as a great result? Absolutely, for me. And even if we can just keep that tight and keep it, maybe we end up conceding a late goal like we did over in Leipzig. We've done that on the channel as well, and then we overcame it there. Even keeping it in there and keeping it tight and giving us something to fight for with the atmosphere and the situation we can create at Ibrox. Keep it like that, and just keep that as enough to be a success. I think so, in my opinion. There's plenty of opportunities for us to come out here with our head held high with something to hold on to. What we can't have is us limping in that game with players that aren't bother. And that might sound a bit mad considering everything we've talked about, and again as Rangers fans we know they usually do rise to the occasion, but we are at a very, very unusual situation that we as a Rangers football team haven't been at ever, in my opinion, especially with this group of players, because it's not just a big European night on the back of domestic failures, because that's been the team for years. If we're being honest, there is this impending takeover. There is going to be a clear out both on and off the park. And are these players going to go down the route of, well, I know my ticket's punched or anything like that, so I'm not going to give exactly what I've been able to give before because I know I'm one of the first names out the door at the end of the old season? Or have they got the mentality to actually fight and hope for their place? You know what I mean? They've been given a great privilege of playing for Rangers. A lot of them have went ahead and earned it elsewhere and had some great moments for this club. Do they really want to slip out the back door and be known as the worst ever Rangers side, or can they have another tip to their cap? Have they got something about them? Have they got something up here that says, you know what, there is a takeover coming, there is going to be a new manager, there is going to be fresh ideas, but it needs to be built on the back of me, and I'll show you against a fantastic Fenerbahce side where I'll be up here and raise my game. I certainly hope it's the latter, and again with the quality we're facing at the other side of the park, we need that mentality and we need belief. And I guess we've got to go ahead and talk about the manager then, shall we? That's right, we've got Barry Ferguson versus the special one, and I know everyone's saying this and this and this about it, but see, at the same time, where we are in the season, what we need for this game of football, it's not tactical with this and tactical with this, it's that, it's just inspiring and putting players out there. And again, Barry can't work miracles, you know what I mean? The team has been gutted, the team's low of confidence. We've let this rumble on for September, October, November, where it was clear that it was starting to go downhill. We've let it fall all the way down to the hill, right to the very rock embarrassing bottom down here. And we were expecting somebody to come in and pick every one of the players up and get everybody gone. No, we drove this all the way down. We let it keep going as low as this. And now Barry's job is to sort of do the impossible and try and get a reaction against one of the greatest managers of all time. But again, it's all heart, it's all desire, and it's work rate and commitment. Can we be the team that outworks the more talented squad? Because usually it's the opposite, and we've seen that all season long. So not only the manager and the dugout to try and inspire that, but it's on the players to actually believe it. And again, we have went already and spoke about the likes, say, Dessers and Big Soapy, and we are really going to need them because we do need to be brave, we do need to have belief, and when the chances do come, we need Big CD9 to be European CD9, where he seemingly takes the big chances, and I hope he has a great moment tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's not going to blind me, or I'm not going to be completely changed on how I feel because I want to get back to watching this team domestically, you know what I mean? But what's left of the season, we can't win this and this. What can we potentially win? Again, it's not really realistic with how we're playing, but we could still potentially win European football. So I want to see the best of these laddies. I hope CD9 scores a couple goals. I hope he celebrates. I hope he scores a winner, because by God, do we need it. But again, it all comes for that belief, and it all comes for being brave on the football. Can we take our opportunities when they come? Well, we'll need Mr. CD9. Again, we've already talked about how we're going to need Big Soapy because of the amount of attacking options they've got. We need him to somehow be at his very, very best. But he's always been a bit of a siege mentality defender. That's where you see the best of John, and this could be another day where Big John looks absolutely outstanding. And I really hope it. But instead of just going through and continuing to talk about maybe the two ends of the park, Soapy and Dessers, there's another name that I want to briefly talk about, and that is Mr. Eggman. Right, some people are turning on him already, some people think he should be dropped, some people should be there and that, but whether you like Eggman or no, Eggman's got a wee bit of son about him. It is bringing that ball down, it is that wee skill, it is trying to be brave, and he can get the ball to stick in a game, in an atmosphere where we are gone. That could be the guy that gets the ball down, wins us the set piece, that ends up putting the ball into the back of it, or winning the ball, getting it down, driving at the box and getting a penalty kick. This could be the day for Eggman. I certainly hope it is, but I wouldn't be writing off the young laddie yet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hype around them. There's obviously a Moroccan there playing at the other side. There's going to be a lot of eyes, especially internationally, and I just hope he's got enough arms around him just to get this lad sparking. But he doesn't strike me as a character that's low in confidence, just has a wee bit of way about him. But I wouldn't write off Eggman having his say if it is going to be a good day for Rangers. But the last little player I want to talk about is someone that was recently added, because we know we're reliant on Cherny, we know we're reliant on Tavernier all the time with all these stuff, you know what I mean? So we didn't need to keep going into this. But Haji's inclusion in European campaign is interesting, because I think he's been really poor the last two games especially, but this is his first chance at European football, right? Whether he's signing the contract or no, or whether he wants to see where his future is or no. There's a lot of history with his name over in Turkey. There's going to be a lot of eyes and a lot of pressure, and he might feel like a caged animal watching all the European football play, not being able to play. Well, he's about to be unleashed, I should say, sorry, and it's time for him to go out, and again, hopefully he has a very, very good day. But there is talent there, but again, talent will not get you far if they're not willing to work for it. And I just hope talent and work rate matches the day like it has done in so many European days, and every single one of us can be happy and be proud of the players that are playing the Mora. And by the way, I do keep saying tomorrow, but I have recorded this on Tuesday because my flight is actually on Wednesday. So if there is anything breaking in terms of the press conference regarding he's ruled out or Big Soapy isn't going to make it, I do apologise. I'm just going on and recording with the information I have right now. This actually happened the last time with Jeff Day as well, so hopefully he's not crucifying me too much in the comments in case there has been a little bit of drama. But when you're literally watching today's video, I would have just probably landed by about 20 minutes or so. So aye, that's all I've got to say right now, and that's the information that's out there. There is a lot of hopes, there is a lot of prayers, but that's where you are at the season. It's European football. We've raised to the occasion before. We need a big, mature performance versus a very good Fenerbahce side, but a very dark artsy Fenerbahce side as well. You know what I mean? They will be diving, they'll go doing everything. We just need to keep the heat and be mature. We need our leaders to really lead. We've got one thing left of the season, right? We've failed everything else. Can they go ahead and keep this ball rolling? I really, really hope it was. But that's my thoughts and opinions on the game. It's a very, very tough ask, you know what I mean? I think a score draw, you'd bite your hands off that and take that every day of the week. I'd happily take a 1-1, you know what I mean? Or a 2-2. Maybe more probably going to be a 1-1. But again, I could see it maybe finishing 2-1 to Fenerbahce. It's going to be really, really tight. But I hope and go with my gut and... well, not really my gut, but my heart, I should say. And that is going to be Rangers 1, Fenerbahce 1. Go over there and nick, son. Take it back to Ibrox. That's all I can hope. And that's truthfully how I'm going. Now, I might potentially make a video in terms of my phone after the game of football. Again, we'll make that maybe for the hotel room. If not, I will be back later on the Friday and I'll make the video. So in case we do get beat or anything, I'm no hiding or anything like that. You know what I mean? You know how the European script goes or anything like that. I've never had any matter any of the losses or anything like that. It's just with the way the flights are working, I'm not getting back to really late now on the Friday. So hopefully I'll get a video up. Hopefully I'm smiling and hopefully I get to see you all very happy down in the comments section below. But until next time, I've been Cjo Novo 992. Nearly forgot my name there. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.